Your English is good, but you still find IELTS reading challenging. If that's you, this video will change how you see the test. Let me say this clearly. IELTS reading does not test your English level. It tests how you think under pressure. In this video, I'll show you the exact mindset and process that separates Band 6 students from Band 8 and 9 scorers. Firstly, let's look at the test structure in detail. You get 3 passages with progressive difficulty. Passage 1 is generally the easiest. The vocabulary is straightforward, the structure is clear, and the questions are usually quite direct. Passage 2 is more challenging. The ideas become slightly more complex, the vocabulary is harder, and the questions need more closer reading. And then there's passage 3, the toughest one. This is the passage designed to separate Band 7 from 8 or 9. The language is more academic, the ideas are more detailed, and the questions really test how well you can handle complexity under time pressure. Now, let's learn how to strategically read these passages to score a Band 9. To manage your time more effectively, move through passage 1 quickly. Do not spend more than 15 minutes on it. This way, you end up saving this time for passage 3, where the questions are harder and every minute truly matters. You can even start with passage 3, tackling the toughest part first while your mind is still fresh and you have plenty of time. I will show you how to exactly do this. There are over 10 different question types in IELTS reading, and each one tests a different skill. Let us take a closer look at the types of questions you can expect in the IELTS reading test, and more importantly, how to approach each of them strategically. First up, matching headings. This question type tests your ability to identify the main idea of each paragraph. True, false, not given, or sometimes you get it as yes, no, not given. This question tests accuracy and precision by comparing statements with the text. Next, we have sentence completion. This question type tests grammar awareness and paraphrasing skills. Now comes the most difficult question type, which is multiple choice questions. This question tests deep understanding and the ability to avoid trap answers. There are 4 different types of matching questions, starting with matching information. This question tests your skill in locating specific details in the passage. Matching features tests how well you can link facts, opinions, or ideas to people or categories. Matching sentence endings. This question tests logical connections and meaning continuity. Coming to the completion type of questions, there's summary completion, note completion, table completion, and flowchart completion. These question types test your skimming, scanning, and paraphrasing skills. Diagram labeling. This question type tests your understanding of processes and visual information. Lastly, short answer questions. This question tests how accurately you can scan and stick to the word limit. Now, let's move to solving 4 major IELTS reading question types with real examples. Don't skip ahead. The mistakes I show you are probably the ones you're making right now. Matching headings, true, false, not given, sentence completion, and MCQs are the 4 question types where most students lose marks. Not because they are difficult, but because of the test designed with paraphrasing traps, small reading mistakes, and running out of time. Now let's take a look at few examples for each of these difficult question types, starting with matching headings. This question type tests how well one can understand the main idea of each paragraph. And please understand, this is never about matching similar words in the paragraph with the words in the list of headings. Now let's understand the strategy to identify the main idea of each paragraph. Before you start, ensure that you quickly skim through the list of headings. On the other side, you will find the paragraphs named as A, B, C, D, and E. Important point to note here is that the list of headings are always more than the number of paragraphs. Each paragraph can have only one heading. Now let's take a look at a question. We have paragraph A here. Let us solve paragraph A and understand the strategy to arriving at the main idea. Most students make the mistake here of reading the whole paragraph line by line. Let us not do that and save ourselves some time. Ensure that you read the first sentence because this sentence tells you what the paragraph is all about. Then you will have to skim through the middle portion of the paragraph. That's just details, examples, and extra information. Lastly, you get to read the last sentence and this tells you where the paragraph is going. Let us do this now. The odds of seeing a leopard in Beira in northwestern India are 90%, says Shatrunjay Pratap, a winemaker turned conservationist and wildlife photographer. Now let us quickly skim through the middle portion. When you look at first, you would be forgiven for thinking he was off his tram car. Not only is this a wildlife reserve, but is this also an area swarming with villages, large predators, yet this pastoral region of less than 8 square miles in the Aravalli Hills between the tourist meccas of Udaipur and Jodhpur contains the biggest concentration of leopards on earth. Let's just read the last sentence in detail and understand where the paragraph is going. Around 50 leopards live here in rocky outcrops that rise amongst the irrigated fields and thorny desert scrub. Let us arrive at the main idea. Ask yourself a question. What is this whole paragraph trying to tell you? Once you arrive at the main idea, now let's do the process of elimination, which is going to be a game changer for this question type. We would go by each heading and try to eliminate options that do not match with the idea of the paragraph that we just read. Before we go ahead and eliminate the options one by one and arrive at the correct heading for this question, ensure that you also look at transition words. Words like however, although, even though. These words will change how you look at the paragraph and will hinder you from arriving at the main idea. So here we have a transition word yet, which means it is going to transition the idea to a different idea which is not related to the first half of the paragraph. Now let us start by eliminating the headings one by one. The tribal community of Bera. So we do not have anything talking about the tribal community or Bera here. So I am going to eliminate this heading. Statistical proof of the leopard-human conflict in Bera. Do we have any numbers on the human-leopard conflict? There's not any numbers on that, so we'll be eliminating this option as well. Ways in which leopards are of help. We do not have anything talking about how the leopards are of help to the villagers. So let's eliminate this option as well. Distinctive behavior of leopards in Bera. Anything on how the leopards behave? We don't see that. So let's eliminate this option as well. Leopard population in India. This is where you will have to be very careful because we do have something that here tells you contains the biggest concentration of leopards on the earth. Do you see that here it says India in the option, whereas in the paragraph it says on the earth. So please don't fall trap to this option here and eliminate heading number 5. Next up, the only human leopard encounter. Do we anywhere have anything talking about human leopard encounter here? Not really. A strange belief people in Bera have. We do not have anything here talking about beliefs, ideas or thought processes of these villagers here in Bera. So what are we left with? The only option, which is the probability of catching a glimpse of the animal. That is going to be your heading. And that's what the first sentence actually tells you, the odds of seeing a leopard in Bera. So we will go ahead and write this as the answer here, which is. So how do we arrive at the main idea? When you read through this, we see that the paragraph actually tells how this conservationist and wildlife photographer tells it is easy to spot a leopard in this northwestern India, and also he tells how these number of leopards, that is 50 leopards, live in these rocky outcrops, and there's some extra details on the location, that is Aravalli Hills and tourist meccas of Udaipur and Jodhpur. So that's how you arrive at the main idea, and by using process of elimination you would be able to arrive at the right heading for the paragraph. Now let us look at another challenging question type, which is true, false, not given. You might sometimes get it as yes, no, not given as well. Always ensure that you read the instructions carefully because for this question type, that is all that it matters. What do the questions mean? True if the statement agrees with the information. False if the statement contradicts, that is opposite to the given information. Not given if there is no information on the statement at all. False and not given is where most students fall for the trap, wherein they fail to recognize whether it is false or not given. One slight difference here is that not given will either have no information or it could most times be as partial information. Alright, so let's solve one true, false, not given question. Always ensure that you read the question very carefully before you move into the details in the passage. Question number 10. We understand the fundamental nature of friendship from other species. Read the question, ensure you choose the right keywords here. We understand fundamental nature, friendship, other species. Now let us go skim, scan and locate these keywords in the passage. You'll have to be a little faster here because you'll not have time, and you know that IELTS exam is a time-bound exam. So here we have the keyword fundamental, but please do not fall trap to these because you will have these words throughout the passage. So you need to ensure that you locate each of these words in the question in the passage. So here again we have other species, we see how fundamental close. So this is the part we will now do a detailed reading. It is by looking at other species such as baboons and dolphins that we see how fundamental close friendship is. So it does agree with the exact statement given here. So now we will mark it as true. Let us solve one more to understand not given and the difference between false. When children turn 4, they know exactly who their friends for life will be. Ensure that whenever you have numbers, names or any proper nouns, you take them as the primary keyword because it will help you locate them in the passage very fast. So here we have a number, so that's 4, and then children know exactly friends for life. Now let's look for 4 because it is easier to locate, as I said. Do we have it here in this paragraph? No. So let's start skimming and scanning from the next paragraph. So I can locate 4 here, and we also have understanding other people. So let's do a detailed reading here. From around the age of 4, children develop an understanding that other people may have thoughts, interests and feelings that are different to theirs. This emerging capacity known as theory of mind helps children make friends, says Aileen Kennedy Murray, a clinical psychologist and author of the book Growing Friendships. But here if you see, we do have this partial information about children turning 4, but we don't really have information about the other half where it says they know exactly who their friends for life will be. So that means there is only partial information, and as discussed, when you see partial information, it is going to be not given. Alright, moving ahead, we'll solve a sentence completion question with some general tips. First and foremost, it's important that you don't exceed the word limit. When it says no more than 2 words, you can write 1 word or 2 words. There is no lower limit, but you have to stick to the upper limit. And most students get confused with and or a number. It always means that you can have 1 word and a number, or you can have only a number. So please be very careful with the word limit, especially for completion type of questions. Ensure that your answers are grammatically correct. Once you write the answer, you read it again to see if it makes sense grammatically. Check for new terms. Locate answers according to passage flow. So this question type follows the chronological order. So if you find first answer in passage 1, the second answer would follow after that. So please do not waste a lot of time on any question, like not more than a minute if you are unable to find so. You can always come back and locate your answer between the answers you've already found. We have a paragraph here that talks about adorable rabbit relative sounds an alarm for global warming. The first step in the strategy is always to ensure you read the instructions carefully so we know what the word limit is. Here it says no more than 2 words. Now let us read the question. As speaker rabbits are well adjusted to their state of living and dash, they indicate the progress of change in weather conditions. So once you read the question, ensure that you underline keywords. Speaker rabbits, well adjusted, state of living and dash. Also, you look at what is before the blank and after the blank. That will help you find the answer faster. They indicate progress, change in weather. So these are our keywords. Let us start skimming and scanning so we are able to locate these keywords in the passage. So we do see here physiologically fine-tuned. Ensure that you're also very well equipped with paraphrasing skills because IELTS is all about paraphrasing. You're never going to find the same words as in the question. So you need to look for synonyms. So here well adjusted is nothing but physiologically fine-tuned. So let's continue reading. We'll do a detailed reading because we have located the answer location. Of life and talus habitats, they are especially vulnerable to the effects of a warming climate, making them an indicator for advancement of climate change. Change in weather conditions. Here we have it, which says indicate the progress of change in weather conditions. Indicator of advancement of climate change. That's how they've paraphrased it. So now let us look for the answer. It says state of living and dash. Here if you see way of life is nothing but state of living. And talus habitats. So that is what is missing. So you will go with this, which is talus habitats. That's our answer here. And ensure once you put the answer in the blank, you read it to ensure it grammatically makes sense and it also sticks to the word limit. Can we write 2 words? Yes. So it is going to be talus habitats. Let us now solve an MCQ question, which is yet another difficult question type. So ensure that you again always start by reading the instructions carefully because sometimes it might ask you to choose one correct answer, sometimes it could be 2 options. So here it says choose the correct letter A, B, C or D. And here it talks about NASA's first Mars sample appears to have crumbled to bits. Let us read the question. At the last step of the first sample, the picture displayed that So once you read the question, avoid looking at the options. We'll quickly skim, scan, locate it in the paragraph, do detailed reading, and then we'll come back to the options. Now the game changer here is our process of elimination. When it comes to multiple choice questions, do not look for the correct option, rather try to eliminate the wrong ones. The keywords here are last step, first sample, picture displayed. So here if you see there is final stage. Again paraphrasing. Last step is paraphrased as final stage. First sample remains the same, and let us continue reading. Attempt began the evening of August 5 after the team issued commands for the automated process to start. They awoke the following morning at 2 a.m. PT to check the Perseverance progress, discovering it had successfully drilled into the surface. An image showed exactly what they expected, a hole surrounded by a ring of sand known as tailings. So here it says the picture displayed that. Picture displayed is paraphrased as image showed. So what did it show? Exactly what they expected. Now let us take a look at the options. The expected result was achieved. So here it says exactly what they expected, and it matches with the expected result was achieved. So I'm going to keep this as one of my option. There was a sealed tube. Does it anywhere talk about sealed tube? No. So we'll be eliminating this option using process of elimination. The red planet is beautiful. Do we have anything here talking about the red planet? Did the image display any red planet here? Not really. So we'll eliminate this option as well. Lastly, we have something unexpected happened. This is completely opposite to what the paragraph says, exactly what they expected. So we'll be eliminating this as well. So our answer here would be option A, that says the expected result was achieved. So how do we do this process of elimination? You will simply have to eliminate options that are exactly opposite of what is given, or there is nothing about it talking at all in the paragraph. So these things you can eliminate and you will go with the option that is exactly given in the paragraph. Now you must have understood skim, scan and guess doesn't work everywhere. Each question type has its own logic, and this is where practice matters. When you practice these strategies enough times, they become automatic. If you found this helpful and have more such questions, please drop them in the comments and I will take them up in my upcoming videos.